What's going on, guys? It's Wilson. We're back on the Function Powersports YouTube, and today is all about ODI grips. We've got a couple of different options for you. We've got a Polaris Sportsman 450. It's a 450. And we're gonna throw a couple of different grips on this so you guys can see, one, how easy that install is, and two, how good it's gonna look and how great they're gonna feel. So, if you don't know who ODI is, you've clearly never held on to these guys before. Because when it comes to the grip and handlebar market, these guys are the people. Now let me tell you a little bit about kind of some of the stuff that they have that we've got here today for you. We've got the Rouge lock-on grips, we've got the Ruffian lock-on grips, we've got the Extreme lock-on grips, we've got a couple of slide-ons and a couple of different choices as well, and tons of different colors, right? So when it comes to the handlebars, today we've got the Polaris Sportsman 450. We're gonna throw 3 different styles of grips on this machine so that you can see the differences, and they want me to install them. They're already starting to jump off this thing so we can get them on. So all I can say is I think we're gonna get into it, right? I'm excited, I can feel it. I can feel it. You can get these bad boys at functionpowersports.com. The first thing that you are gonna wanna do is get your old stock grips off. So if you have a traditional grip like this, the easiest way to do that is realistically taking a razor blade or a knife, don't cut yourself, slicing it across this like this, right? And then once you have that, you can actually peel it back. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So now that you've got your factory grip off, right? There's only one thing you can do with this. It was a swish, it was a swish. All right, so the next step, once you get the old grips off, is to start working on sliding the new ones on. So the first one that we are actually gonna try out is going to be the Ruffian. We've got the blue end cap, we've got a blue machine, it just makes sense. So let's get this thing on.
Well, as Wilson said, we got an ODI expert here, and it's your boy, Glen from Function Powersports. So basically, I've been running ODI grips ever since I was a little kid with all the ATV racing I grew up doing, all the trail riding I've been doing. So we're gonna run through the 3 different ODI grips. I'm gonna give you guys just a quick little rundown of the style. So here we got the Ruffian grips. As you can see, Wilson already got these bad boys basically all mounted up. The lock-on grips are awesome because they don't ever spin loose on you. If you're jumping a race quad or at least trail riding, your hands aren't gonna spin on them. So the Ruffian grip is a very low profile design grip where it's kind of gritty. So like to your hand feel, to touch, they're not the most comfortable, but if you had riding gloves on, this is where this is just a really good gripping, obviously grip, that your hands aren't gonna slip on at all. So in terms of cushion, if you're doing any kind of trail riding, you're gonna want a little bit maybe more cushiony styled grip, whereas this is a great one for any kind of racing action where you want the maximum grip with your riding gloves. So let's get into the next one.
So next up, we've got the Extreme grip. This one's actually in a gray rubber, blue locking as well, because it's a blue machine, so we gotta do that. So we're gonna throw this one on, and Glen's gonna compare the differences of this versus the Ruffian.
So now we got the Extreme lock-on grips here, totally different design, and right off the bat, in comparison to the Ruffian grip, this has a lot more texture to it and it's a little bit softer grip. So that Ruffian that we previously just talked about, it is a very consistent grip pattern and design on it where it's just, you feel little bumps throughout the entire thing, whereas the Extreme, it's got almost like a diamond plate design to it. So you can feel that it's got some more notches throughout the design, but then like the Ruffian, has a lot of smaller knobs on it, we'll call it. So basically the difference here is the Ruffian's gonna be a really great grip for dry conditions, obviously with riding gloves. And then this extreme lock-on is gonna be a little bit better if you're in more muddy conditions, you want a little bit more of a grab, because if that Ruffian grip gets all slicked up with mud, your hands are just gonna slide on it, even maybe with riding gloves. So in comparison to those two, the Extreme is just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more grip design to it. So we got one more to compare.
That was the Extreme grips. The next and final one that we're gonna throw on is gonna be the Rouge ones. So let's do that right now.
All right, so now we're on that final last ODI lock-on grip called the Rouge. So as you guys can see, and when Wilson was installing this, it's a lot different design of a grip than the last two. This one's a lot more cushiony grip. You're gonna instantly feel that difference, that there's a lot of padding and cushion within this grip design. Now it does have a nice texture to each grip, so riding gloves, your bare hands, we always recommend using riding gloves to like prevent blisters and stuff. So riding gloves and quality grips are the way to go with the Rouge. This is something that I would personally use for any kind of trail riding, off-road riding, and even if you're just cruising your machine around, it's the comfort. So it makes a little bit better experience. That way, I guess, you know, instead of using those stock grips that are just brittle and hard and not comfortable to use, the ODI Rouges are a whole different game changer.
So there you have it. The ODI grips installed and tested by Glen from Function Powersports. So you know that they're good. Now, my personal opinion, right? Because I've felt them all and I've kind of been looking at them, right? I like the Rouges. That's my opinion. They're pretty comfy, right? And I feel like I could go places. So if you are looking for some ODI grips for yourself, make sure to stop by functionpowersports.com and pick them out. They're all like under 30 bucks. So it's really not that expensive for you to add a little bit of flair to your machine. So if you enjoyed this video, obviously we showed you a few things, showed off a few products, and showed you kind of how it works. Make sure to slap the subscribe button and follow us, because we put a lot of this content out. We've got a ton of content still there. Watch some of those videos. Look for our next ones, because we're bringing a ton of good stuff for you. I'm Wilson. This is Function Powersports on the YouTube. Peace.